Head to Croatia, they said. You'll love the culture, they promised. The people are incredible, they told me. The climate is to die for. Well, off the pitch, everything is living up to our expectations. But what's been going on it? Come on, admit it now, you weren't expecting this, were you? Little old us, top of the league after 10 games. That's a third of the season in the Croatian second tier, by the way. We're on 25 points, 5 points clear of Varaždin in second place, a team who have not yet played this season. But we are doing all right. We've won 8, lost 1, drawn our most recent game. Maybe we should show you the form. It's not been half bad, I can assure you. In our first game of the season, you saw us beating Yaren 2-0, and we went on one heck of a run at the start of the campaign. We followed that up with a 1-0 victory in our next game before the cup got underway, and we beat a club from one of the lower divisions 3-1. To do a bit of a rescue job in that game, by the way, before another 1-0 win. You can see clean sheets in our first 3 games. We then played Dinamo Zagreb's second team. That was a tough game. Went behind in that one, but managed to pull it back for a 2-1 win. We won 3-1 in our next game before the slip. We lost 1-0, and we didn't look good in this game to Leyton Orient's Croatian cousins. And then we bounced into a cup game where we played Goritska from the division above. We did rest all of our first 11 players, and to be brutally honest, we only have 11 players that are first team ready. The rest were make-weights, and so they looked in this cup game, and then we had back-to-back defeats, and we were starting to look a little fragile, but now the clean sheets have started to return again. We played Osiek's second team, beat them 2-0. We played Dubrava and beat them 2-0. We then won 1-0 in the next fixture before the last game. Not a disaster, it was a 0-0 draw, but in the context of the game itself, I was disappointed. We played Inter Zapresic, bottom of the table. They only had 5 points from 9 games. We absolutely annihilated them. They had the man sent off. It was standard Football Manager fare. When you're playing bottom of the table and they're down to 10 men, you know nothing you are doing is going to force the breakthrough, and so it proved. We played pretty poorly in terms of our player ratings. Only 4 of our 16 shots were on target. We did enough to win the game. Some of the shots that were off target were pretty decent opportunities, but we weren't able to find the breakthrough. However, we're not complaining. We're 5 points clear with a third of the season down, and we've also got some improvements to show you when it comes to our manager profile. Come on in, come and take a look. Still completing the National C licence, still half a star as a reputation as manager, but things have already started to pick up. Now look, we are a 2 for defending coaching, a 2 for attacking coaching. We're up to 3 in terms of our mental attributes, and we've also got improvements over here as well. 5 for adaptability is what we started out with, but we're up to 3 for determination. We've picked up some player knowledge and youngster knowledge, which is no use to us. We're not signing any players, but people management is up to 2. Motivating's up to 2. Disappointingly, level of discipline is down at 1, despite me fining players for poor performances and having some pretty tough chats with players about their training. I don't know how much more robust they would like me to be. Maybe it's the fact that Scott Thomas, assistant manager, has got level of discipline 20, means that he takes some of the tough conversations out of my hands. But we're already making little progress. Hopefully the C licence will be completed fairly soon, and I do have half an eye, if results are still going well, and potentially asking the board for another coaching qualification before we leave Dugapol, in case we can get 2 badges done before we move on to our next job. That will all hinge on how quickly we can get this C licence under our belts. But things are going swimmingly in this first job. The sting in the tail is clearly just around the corner. But before we go out there and play today's game, let's show you 3 of the players that have impressed since we arrived. So when we took on this job, I knowledgeably diagnosed that we would be great going forward, but we would be drivel defensively. And yet we've kept lots and lots of clean sheets. It's goal scoring that we've really struggled with. One of our defenders has turned out to be pretty useful indeed. Unfortunately, he's going to be suspended for today's game. But Petar Mikulic is a left-back who I thought might be a rampaging force. What I didn't spot when we first introduced him to you is that he's also 6'5" and has a jumping reach of 16. And he's been great defensively for set pieces, but also going forward as well, where he's grabbed himself 2 goals. But he is not just a big man. He's rampaged forward down the left flank and got himself an assist as well. It's a shame that he's not going to be available for today's game because he has been pretty good. Our star player, by the way, we've settled more into playing him as a centre-back. Maybe that's helped us keep as many clean sheets as we have. He is now fully fit, playing pretty well. Glad to have him back there. But he has been outshone in terms of our best players so far this season by 2 of our midfielders. First of all, our inverted winger over on the left. You saw him score on the opening day of the season. He scored the very first goal of this Journeyman adventure. Well, Ivan Subelic has been pretty good. He's now contributed 4 assists and 4 goals in 10 appearances. He's playing pretty well in our fixtures and training very well. He's only 18 years old. His potential value now is up as high as maybe 2.1 million. Not our player. He belongs to Hajduk Split, but we are mighty pleased that he has travelled the 15 kilometres over to Dugapol to play for us this season. But maybe even he has been outshone by another young player, but this time one that does belong to Dugapol. This is Duje Javorchik. He has been incredibly good so far. He's got an assist and 4 goals, an average rating of 7.4, 21 years old. He could be an absolute steal for another club. If he goes for just £35,000, he's already wanted by Beitar Jerusalem and Hapoel Hadera. I think it's time that we go and collect our scout report on the opposition before we see you for the kickoff. Perched on Croatia's Adriatic coastline is the resort town of Apatia, a place 10,000 residents call home and where everyone follows the local club NK Apatia. The club are managed by veteran coach Zoran Bogolin, who guided the club as high as 4th in the table earlier in the season. But a dip in their form sees them lying in 8th place going into this game with Dugapolia. So as well as we have been playing so far, the area that we are very concerned about is goal scoring. We just cannot get a striker that is contributing to the team. Today we're playing 35-year-old Rodic, a player that looked great in pre-season, was injured for the start of the season. He has come in and scored a couple of goals in his defence, but his training is consistently below a 6, and whenever we've challenged him about it, he says that we are bang out of order for bringing it up. So we've been rotating him in and out of the side, but neither of our strikers are looking very consistent. One of them still not scored a goal for us this season in the league, so we've gone back to Rodic for today's game. Maybe he can play angry and get on the score sheet this afternoon. I think if we had a goal scorer in this side, we could really start thinking about promotion and winning this league before we move on at the end of the campaign. Without a goal scorer, we've been relying on some low-scoring victories and midfielders getting all the goals for us. We're essentially playing strikerless without playing strikerless. We're playing a number 9. They don't take any of their chances, as Rodic proved when he was through one-on-one with the keeper just then, and he still slashed it wide of the goal. It's our wide players and our midfielders that are contributing far more. As Kubelic, I think, is the one that strikes the bar on that occasion. We're 12 minutes into the game. I think we should be a goal up by now, and we're not. And this is kind of the pattern of their games during the first third of the season. We look on top, we look strong, we're creating chances. We don't have players that are clinical and are taking all of those chances. Often we end up at 0-0 at half-time. We have to read them the riot act, get a goal early in the second half, and then we just cling on and it's a 1-0. Maybe we had a second late on. But we are not blowing any of these teams out of the water. And I think we could If we could just take some of these early chances. Maybe this could be the one, though, because we're in the box again. Here's our little right winger. We've got it to Sabelic again. It's charged down. Now it's to our defensive midfielder, Jengic. Got the ball in again. Sabelic has been playing ever so well recently. Here he goes again. He's got no left foot. He decides to go outside anyway, gets a cross in, wins a corner. He takes all of our set pieces for us as well. And we are without our 6'5" left back who would normally be the target for those. So we might not be quite as threatening today. We've hit the bar for a second time inside 15 minutes. I know that these are not great shots, but look at this. This is typical of our season so far. 7 shots, only 1 of them on target. The dynamics are still not great, if I'm honest. They don't respond to very much that I say. As you can see from my demand more shouts, we've got Rodic playing above a 7 apparently. I don't know how that computes. 9 shots, 2 on target, no goals, nothing for the opposition. But so far they're getting a point out of it. I think we need another word with the players at half time. So as we kick off for the second half, work ball into box is on, and I've also asked the players to be a little bit more expressive. Maybe the chances we're creating are just too low percentage. Although a couple that we've had, I think, have looked pretty decent to me, but we need to try and find this breakthrough in order to keep our form at the top of the league. I'm glad you've come back for this game because you're getting a real good glimpse of what life is like managing Dugapol. Look strong, look good, create chances, restrict the opposition, but everything is a little bit nervy and a little bit unconvincing. Now it's actually a little bit cumbersome. Maybe it will come off. Maybe it will create the chance that gets us into the lead. It does create that chance. That was gilt-edged. Rodic has missed another one. I think we're going to have to get another striker on 60 minutes, you know. Here's Javorcic racing through from midfield. He's gone for the dink, my goodness. It's ended up in the car park behind the goal. Surely something's got to give sooner or later, hasn't it? We're creating too much to draw a blank, or is that famous last words? It's Rodic, he's headed one on. It's Sabelic, and finally the inverted winger cuts in from the left. And now, God, be still my beating heart, we have got the goal that I think our play has deserved. Javorcic gets forward, Rodic heads it on. Are we going to give Rodic credit there? I guess begrudgingly we're going to praise him, even though he trains at a 5.8 every week, the sulky little ferret. Right, 62 minutes, time to get some fresh legs on the pitch. Where is this second goal coming from? So we had terrible performances all down the right flank. So our right back is off. Our right winger is off. In fairness, he's been injured a fair old bit. And we've got to the 63-minute mark. And we've not really created anything else. So we're going to make our final change. I think, you know, we are going to bring on a new striker. So this is Mario Cenicki. Not too bad on the face of it, but here's how he's performed so far. 6 starts, 3 sub-appearances. Absolutely zip. Could not hit a pig's backside with a banjo. He's also played in the Cup. He's been even worse in that than he has been in the league. He scored 5 in 6 in pre-season. He has not even had a sniff of a goal in the games that we've played him in. Could he break his duck this afternoon and finally get on a little run of scoring goals? We're into the highlights, and here is Jenčić the Mazzala, all the way back to Rodos. Rodos, by the way, I didn't have great expectations of. He's a young Bosnian centre-back. He's been all right, you know. He's been pretty solid. And there is our mate, Cenicki. Tame little header, almost like a defensive header back to the goalkeeper. We've got the ball back again, though. I do fear that they might just have a little late riposte if we don't get a second goal. How many times have you dominated a game, only been 1-0 up, and then pushing for that second goal, the opposition just stun you on the counter? Mark my words, it could well be coming. Bookmark it now, but we at least have the ball. Here is Rodos Honestly, played pretty well. Cengic, Gencic, playing some nice little triangles. We've got players overlapping on the left, and here they go. Here is the auxiliary left back. He's got it forward. Here's our mate. No, mate. When you're on a bad run of form, you're not curling one in the top corner from 20 yards. I don't know who you think you are there, but it is not going to happen. And I think, we might have to just try and hang on for a 1-0 victory. Here we go. The opposition have got the ball. We've managed to win it back. He's got plenty of space in the midfield. He's got players ahead of him. And here he is. Come on, son. No, absolutely not. When your luck's out, your luck is out. 5 in 6 in pre-season. He's come off the bench and had 3 decent chances in, half an hour? Absolutely nothing for the kid. It's less than half an hour, isn't it? And there is the chance that I feared. 86 minutes. Cenicki is inside his own net when he palms that one out. I still think we might need a second goal. 2 minutes plus stoppage time. And we've given the ball away. Oh, what have you done? Who is that absolute playing the ball across his own goal? Is it the right back that I've brought on? It's not. It is. It's a sweet volley, to be fair, but we have just gifted them 2 points. They've stung their way back into the game a little, I suppose. But we should have been out of sight if we lose this game. My goodness, that really is a kick in the proverbials. Cenicki, this is no more than a full-time highlight, is it? Why have we slashed the ball across the edge of our own box? Clown-like defending. What I wouldn't give, by the way, for 5 decent reserve players at this club. We can't bring anything off the bench. We don't really have a strong first 11, to be honest. I reckon we've got maybe 6 good quality players. The rest are just there to make up a side. And the players we bring off the bench, not good enough. And the game peters out into a 1-1 draw. That's 2 draws in a row against bottom of the table and against 8th in the table. And is that going to cut our lead? I'm going to say I'm embarrassed. In fact, we're going to thrash the arms and say we're embarrassed by that shameful performance. What's the league table looking like after 11 games? And here we go. We have got 26 points. We're 3 points clear of Varishdin. We must be playing them in one of the next few games. As it is, by the time you come back and see us next, I fear we will no longer be at the summit of this table.